kayo sa Espanya ng pantay na karapatan. Pero ang hinihingi ninyo ay kadena. Gusto ninyo maging mga Kastila din kayo. Pero hindi niyo nakikita na ang pinapatay ninyo ay ang inyong pagkabansa.
The repressed convictions that long caused us to face the cages we are seemingly bound to leaves imprints of the Filipino character for centuries. Definitively speaking, our limited definition of freedom influences the belief of an escape from the clutches of unlawful systems and policies. This created the conception of liberation and freedom, both foundations and essential schools of thought for defining national identity. It is within this context that shapes the ideology for national identification, a call to be represented as a separate and unique community along with the profound tenets and principles that shape the Filipino spirit. While the hopeful desires for a complete detachment from the oppressive Spaniards grants us the freedom to breathe within our humble communities, it is an undeniable fact that we owe our contemporary civilizations to the Spaniards. Had they not come here to the Philippines, would mean that we still might have lived primitive lives. Amidst the unjust, atrocious deeds of men in power are important systems of societies such as government structures, educational institutions, language, religion, and rich culture that fundamentally benefit the Philippine nation. Openly exposed to the unjust deeds at a young age, he had found his dedication to the Philippines, who had long suffered the vices and ills of her colonizers. Rizal craved the knowledge to know more about the customs and cultures of the Spanish, and through his travels and education, he was able to acquire essential information about Spain, particularly the difference between Spanish in the Philippines and the Spanish in Europe. He involved himself in literary publications of secret organizations that aimed to empower the Filipinos to stand against their oppressors. He is an undeniable genius, born with many talents, a polyglot speaking no less than 20 languages, an artist, a musician, an athlete, an ophthalmologist, and a poet, among many other attributes. No Limitanger and El Filibusterismo, both most notable works of Jose Rizal, are novels that primarily discloses the essence of independence, and a need for establishing nationalism among its many themes. Although these novels were to empower the Filipino spirit, it was in his intention for it to be written in Spanish, targeting the intellectuals in power and those who influence them. Rizal articulates his imparting messages with the satires of unsavory characters that poke to the atrocities and brutalities of the oppressive authorities. It is within this context that Rizal was able to contribute to the independence of the country, fighting not with a gun, but with a pen and a mind filled with knowledge. His works, values, passion, and regard for the country shape the fundamental principles of the Filipino nationalism. It is therefore no less to say that both novels of Jose Rizal awakened Philippine nationalism, opening the eyes of its people to the explicit brutalities of its colonizers and indirectly sparking the beginning of the revolution. His perspective of nationalism is not manipulated by emotional outbursts, but rather with carefully scrutinized policies and objectively proposed reforms that enable not only to benefit one nation, but ultimately a congenial community for both nations to thrive, giving the Philippines more opportunity to exercise their freedom as equally as the Spaniards. His words of wisdom are what instills the voices for the Filipinos to fight for their rights in their homeland. His prominent contributions with his written works, his dedication to seeking knowledge, and last but not least, his passion for the country and its people is what makes him no short of a remarkable national hero.
Hindi na ito tungkol sa mga sarili natin lamang. Tungkol ito sa kung anong maaari nating iambag para sa lahat.
Shen Adante, and this has been Rizal on Nationalism.